What is up, everybody? It's the Inhuman one here with part 11 of the ultimate 100% guide for Wuchang Fallen Feathers. As I've said before, this guide will show you how to obtain every single thing in a single playthrough, and of course get the Platinum Trophy or 100% of all achievements depending on the platform that you are playing on. In the previous episode, we made it all the way through the Treasure Trove area, defeated Feng Ling, and made our way to the refugee camp. We're now going to be taking on the Avian Marsh. So, before we get started, as per usual, let's make sure that we have everything ready to go for the trip up ahead. So, if we have some red mercury, let's go ahead and use it, see where we can maybe find some use to enhance our powers and abilities. So before long, we're going to definitely want to try and upgrade our weapon. That's now going to cost radiant red feathers. We've moved on from the brilliant red feathers. So let's see if our axe can have an upgrade. So there you go. There's an upgrade for the axe. We need 4 more brilliant red feathers to bump that up even further. Looks like we're in pretty good shape, honestly. So excellent stuff there. In terms of the temperance, we can see what we have equipped. So fire is going to be fine for now. Most of the enemies that we face off with are avian in nature, and they are going to be susceptible to fire damage. So we're going to be keeping that. Other than that, always check and see if you have anybody you need to speak with. Right now, all we have is Nian Sui Chong, which is, of course, going to be on the other side of one of the shortcut doors I showed you in the last episode. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. It looks like we need to go ahead and enter the dream, though, so we can re-up all of our items. So let's do that. Always make sure you're restocking your flying daggers and things like that as needed. So it looks like we're in great shape now. We still have the 8, and we're good to go. All right, so we have 8 mana bases. So let's go ahead and press forward. We're going to go back down the way we came. And if you've entered the dream, we're going to reset and progress the position for the jar boy. And so now he's left us with a little picture that actually is quite telling. So if we take a look at the tattered paper, which is the document in the valuable section we just obtained, we can see that it was the painting made by the child in the jar. And you can see that there seems to be a child, maybe a mother type figure and a father type figure in a boat. So that's pretty interesting. Keep that in mind for later. So what we're going to be doing now is going back up. And I already mentioned that had you not given the white jade dumplings to Chao Ying, she'd be here. We're going to make our way around. It looks like since we've reset, we have Glut and Matchstick both leaving their tents. And we have Shen Jing'an looking over her father, which is the butler. So we're going to make our way over here. And I'm going to go ahead and warn you right now that this enemy is quite difficult. He is an elite, avian elite, if you will. This is a red eye, so he's got a bunch of new moves that you won't see anywhere else. Make sure you use your temperance. And we're going to get ready with our mana vase and go ahead and approach him aggressively, see what he does. If we can get behind him, that'd be fantastic. But don't linger too far because he does like his corruption ability. So if we can get the backstab, that's what we want. If not, we're just going to take our time here. Try and use that secondary strike of the longsword because it has incredible range. Go for the backstab, and then if we can punish, obliterate, and then go crazy while he's on the floor. This should finish him off. We get a brilliant red feather and a red mercury essence. Again, quite a difficult enemy. One of the hardest variants, red eye variants in the entire game. So we're going to make that sharp left towards this cliff here, and we're just going to release the ladder. There's absolutely no need to go down yet. If we go down this area, you can actually bypass an entire optional area called the Avian Marsh. We're going to be taking on the Avian Marsh first, though. And even from this angle, you could actually take on and skip the entire level and go straight to the boss. But we're not going to do that because we're completionists, so we're not going to be doing that by any means. Instead, what we are going to do is we're going to use another temperance here and prepare for a battle with an inner demon. She should manifest pretty close in front of us. Go for the strikes here, get the clash if you need it. Remember, the 2nd and 4th strikes are going to cause all kinds of stagger. Use your weapon ability when you can. Try and get that stagger in. Looks like we got her fired up. Love that. Keep her staggered. Go for the weapon ability. Change it up every once in a while, just to spice things up a little bit. And that is the inner demon. We're going to get a stone needle for temperance. And that should if I'm not mistaken, increase the length of the time we have temperance. But we'll just double check here because there's quite a few different ones. There's some that increase the amount of status effect that it's gained, and then some that just increase the attack power. So this, for example, is going to increase the damage that we deal while tempered. There are some that increase the length of time that the temperance lasts, and then there's some that increase the status effect buildup, which is even nicer. So the Benediction combo lightning is going to be nice. You can use that if you're going for a lightning build or using the dual blades, but for now we've cleared out this area. We're going to ignore this path to the rebel camp that's just preceding the Zhenwu temple, and we're going to go into the Avian Marsh instead. So if you took a decent amount of damage like we did, and you feel like you need to re-up, you can go back to the shrine, or if you feel like you're confident, you can press forward for a short stretch. We're going to go ahead and press forward and return back to where we spoke with the white-robed elder. So what we're going to be doing here is crossing the bridge, making a sharp right, and you'll notice that the white-robed elder is no longer in his place. Instead, we're going to go down this ladder. Now, you cannot jump here safely. I mean, you'll take tons of damage, but this is just a dead end right here. It just looks kind of nice, though. We're going to go and grab this item in the basket. Keep in mind we have some cuckoos and things to collect up ahead, so we're going to be doing that. But I'm going to show you the most effective route to take so you don't have to deal with anything crazy. So kill the cuckoo first. That giant avian creature, you know what? We're going to bypass him for now. We'll face off with him a little bit later. Instead, what we're going to do is make sure he's not facing us, and we're going to turn to the right. And we're going to take out this enemy and the despair dog. Okay, they're not guarding any items or goodies, so they're good to go. The avian is up ahead, so we're good. There's nothing else around here at all. So instead, we're going to continue around this big tree here. Make sure that, you know, we're not getting aggro from this gigantic avian enemy here. What we're going to do, we're going to come this way. Get the iframes. And completely bypass that encounter with the big avian for now. We're going to grab this item and follow up the path to the right. This is going to take us to the red-clad lady and the shrine for this area. So let's go ahead and speak to her first.
The downfall of mortals. Either way.
She's going to ask us a question, and despite how terrible the answer may be, just say, I agree. This is going to allow you to do any of the endings that you want. And she's also going to give us the divine blessing. Now that we've done that, we can go ahead and offer blood, activate this shrine, and then we can rest up here. Want to make sure we do enter the dream here so that we can get all of our temperance charges back and our mana bases. And hell, we can even get back our one flying dagger that we used, right? Why not? I want that back anyways. Alright, let's see. I'm happy with this for now. We need 3 more brilliant feathers. Let's go for maybe some health, right? We haven't done that in a while. We've been going pure aggro here. I do love the whirlwind, and I certainly do want to equip it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to our axe, which is the Empyrean Great Axe. We're going to confirm and switch from block to whirlwind. So now we have another ability that's much more useful than a block. When we get these 2 nodes, it's going to be even better. So now we can enter the dream. And as we enter the dream, everything's going to be re-upped. We're going to go back and face that avian, which I strongly suggest you do because you get a very high level upgrade material, but we're going to be switching to our axe. So the red-clad lady's now gone. We're now coming down this path again, and once we get to where the Sploder is, we want to make sure we get him out of the way. Wait for him to cross his arms and then dodge. And then what I like to do is I like to come around this way, actually, and see if I can, if I'm lucky enough, get the avian and attack him from behind. So as long as he doesn't see us, I'm going to go ahead and go for the temperance here in just a moment. I'm going to change to my mana vases. And every second and fourth hit should do a little bit of stagger. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll change it up because we're running out of stamina. And then keep stamming. This should completely stun lock this enemy here. Now he's totally dead, so From this point, we get the Radiant Red Feather and the Blood of Wangdi, which is a giant amount of mercury we can have. So now we can go back. We're pretty much heading back where the Cuckoo was, that main path, and we're going to grab these 2 items. Since we have our axe still on fire, we're going to use that, because why not? Get that maximum usage out of it. We're going to take on this enemy. Take out his friend, because why not? And again, they're not guarding any items or anything. There's hardly anything in this area. Here you're going to have a Sploder. And then one of these brothers. I don't know what happened to my lock on there, but it happens. Alright, so we have those guys dead. We're going to go ahead and grab all the items. We're now going to switch to our the Lashing Whip. I always used to call it the Whipping Lash. We want the longsword because we have a handful of enemies up here. And if we can increase our range and damage more enemy at a time, then the better. So we're going to go ahead and go here, here, watch for that 3rd attack. Take him out. He's dead. So again, there's not a lot of items that they're guarding here. There's just a handful of enemies. We then have this enemy right here that would chase us down the pathway if we didn't take him out first. But it's a big empty forest, really. So this would be the path to the shrine. This was where the Sploder was on the other side of the rock. And this path was where the big avian was, leading to the entrance. So we're just going to follow this ravine here. And there's going to be one of those drum enemies that aggroes the kind of like the pigs that are assembled from a bunch of meat. So if you want, you can go ahead and do this just to kill him. He always aggroes the meat boar anyway, so here's the boar. Surprisingly, he didn't do it. Naturally, because I'm streaming, like recording, things are gonna be exact opposite of what I say. So even though whenever you play, I guarantee he'll wake up that little pig, he didn't do it for me. And he did it even in my practice run, which is so funny. So we have a sorcerer over here. We're not going to worry about him much. We're just going to get through here. We're going to go down this ladder as quickly as possible. And then we have a little bit of a gauntlet up ahead. Let's go down here. We're going to come this way. Take out this dude. We're gonna make a sharp right, make sure nothing's pursuing us. Like this dog sometimes drops down from above. Yeah, he doesn't actually spawn here, so he just will follow you and aggro from above. Don't worry about him though. You can go ahead and check out this lore from this corpse there, and then we're gonna grab this item in here. We're going to activate the shrine and rest, as per usual. This is gonna ensure that we have, you know, max amount of mana vases and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and do that now. We'll enter the dream, and if we need to, we can look at the impetus repository. What else can we level? What else can we level? We definitely want one of these. So making it even harder to interrupt is going to be much more valuable than you can imagine. You get a lot of the tenacity there, which is really good. Alright, so now we're just going to wait for it to load up. And we have now activated the Avian Marsh Shrine. So we have new enemies here, new types of enemies. They're clams, actually, which is pretty neat. In fact, you can even get a clam helmet, which I'm going to show you how to get. So here we can defeat this enemy. Watch for this guy to aggro. And we're not going to go this way. This path kind of forks, so you can go left or you can go right. This path has a bunch of forward progression, but instead we're going to loop around here a few times to make sure we collect everything possible. So these little clams can sometimes aggro if you go too far this way, so just wait for them to spin, and then once they stop, they're no longer going to harm you. There's 2 more clams up ahead. They do camouflage with the environment, so just be careful that you don't get caught unawares with a clam bush, as I like to call it. Alright, so now we're going to come up ahead here. This thing's going to aggro. That's a big boy. And then wait for him. He can either shoot a projectile bubble, which is really slow, but you can get Skyborn Light from it, or he's going to lean back like that, and you can just dash forward to get Skyborn Light, or back to just be safe. So forward here, and get hit in the face like that. Lovely. Lovely. He's doing all the things. I love that. Alright, and of course make sure that you do have the lifesteal pendant, because every time we're taking those little pot shots, we'll be fine. So as a matter of fact, we won't even need to heal anymore because we have some despair dogs that we can kill up here. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll take him out as well, get a little bit more health back. And then as we come along this path, there's going to be a Sploder, and there's also going to be a Lotus Sorcerer. We're going to rush the Sorcerer and completely ignore the Sploder. The Sploder's going to be coming from this kind of pathway right here. But he's not smart enough to turn. He's not an ambi turner, so he can only turn left, he can't turn right. So if we go straight this way, he can't follow us. So he's dead. He actually exploded behind us right now, so we get the obliteration for style points, and then we can actually come back. You see the item there? We're going to completely ignore it. Instead, we're going to go this way. We are going to switch to our axe, though. We're going to temper our weapon, switch to the mana vase, grab this carefully, and drop down, and we're going to fight yet another inner demon. She'll appear right in the middle. So start swinging, get that second and fourth hit every time so we can get the Skyborn Might generation as well as the weapon ability that we love. Yeah. Just keep staggering as much as possible. And that's another inner demon down. We get the root stone needle for status. This is going to increase status effects pretty significantly. So we're going to grab all the items in here, all the goodies that she was guarding. And now we have another brilliant red feather, so more crafting materials. We're going to drop down. We're going to go ahead and rush this guy, because sometimes he aggroes. Sometimes he'll just sit there, sometimes he aggroes. I figured he would aggro because I'm recording. So now we're going to grab this, and just so that you know, this is that same branch or fork in the road from earlier. This is where the little clams attacked us, and that's the big clam over there. You could go this way, towards the cuckoo, but we'd be missing out on a few things. So instead, we're going to clear out the upper pathway and continue along past where the Lotus Sorcerer was. So we're actually going to come back up and around where the Despair Dogs were. We're going to make our way around this path. We're going to go past where the Sploder was and where we fell down to fight the inner demon. And then once we pass the corpse for the Lotus Sorcerer, there's going to be another corpse with an item on it. So this is where the Lotus Sorcerer would be. And here we have another item. We need to prepare for another Sorcerer just up ahead. So lock on, do a running attack here, R1, R1, and then just keep going. You can get a weapon ability if you want after you get your third or fourth strike in to finish them off. And then we're going to come forward and grab this item here. This area is pretty expansive, so as you can tell, that's the ladder that we have for right above the Avian Marsh Shrine. We're going to be coming around there very shortly, actually. It'll all be connecting very soon. I'm going to pick this item up first. And make a hard left, kill this enemy. And then we have another sorcerer. Do not go for the backstab, instead just go for R1s. Finish him off with the weapon ability. You don't want to knock him down, so just R1s is going to do the trick. If you knock him down, you kind of defeat the purpose of clearing out the ambush for later. So now we're going to circle around this way. No items here, but we do have one enemy here that looks like a bait for a backstab. That's precisely what it is. So we're going to rush and kill him quickly and prepare for the ambush to the side. So watch for the blight. There you go. Watch for the grab. When he hops up, that's when he's actually going to go for the grab there. That's okay. It hardly does any damage. It's more to inflict blight than anything else. But when he does his little hop, that's when you want to dodge. Unfortunately, I timed it pretty poorly, so this is a dead end, kind of showcasing that we're going to have a subtle foreshadowing fight with a red eye variant of the rebel camp kind of enemy. He won't be too bad, though. He's actually pretty fun to fight. When you come down this log, though, you grab this radiant red feather, and instead of making a right towards those enemies, we're going to make a hard left. And then we're going to come up this pathway, avoid that enemy up ahead. And the first thing you want to do before anything else is you want to make sure that you tag the ladder and release it down. When you drop the ladder down, now you have the Avian Marsh shortcut right here. So if you just were to drop down, you need to heal. You have all the access to the shrine right there, and you have a shortcut so you don't have to go across the other way again. So what we're going to do before we actually, go back and turn the other way, which is the right path, we're actually going to come back around here. And there's going to be kind of a tragic thing that unfolds here. Let's go ahead and take out this enemy aggressively before he does to us. There you go. He's a tanky fellow, and the reason why is because it looks like he had Glut's token. So it seems like it's very possible even that he either consumed Glut or Glut became that creature, so it's hard to say. But in either case, we also get Matchstick's token, indicating that those poor boys did not make it in their, kind of journey into the jungle, sadly. They did perish. So, what we're going to do now to make sure we have everything we need is come back around this way. If you need to heal, you're more than welcome to rest at the shrine. What we're going to be doing is coming back this way. And it's all going to make sense to you. This is where you can get ambushed by some little clam fellows. And then this is where we drop down to take out the enemy that was facing and guarding this way. And this was the fork that I showed you from earlier. We've now explored everything on that side. We now need to go towards the cuckoo, which is over here. So we're going to take out the cuckoo. There's going to be some clam enemies, kind of foreshadowing. There's going to be a bunch of those things. And then we have a golden item and those two kind of leech mongers from the other side. So we're going to grab this item here. We're going to look for more clams. And take this little guy out with a running attack here. And then we're going to grab whatever he left us. This item on the corpse. And don't rush for that yellow item. Instead, you're going to want to go hard left. Avoid the clam bush. And then we're going to do that. There you go, lovely. Normally they don't use that water attack, but he'll shake when he's doing it, which is so annoying because they usually don't do it at point blank range, but it's fine. They're tanky little fellows, but they're not too bad, honestly, and they're pretty susceptible to just about everything. The Pearl Pendant is going to give us some additional damage for our bullets. So any weapon that fires bullets is going to do even more damage. So now we're going to come down here, take out these guys. Again, the Lashing Whip is just incredible for taking out groups of enemies. Pick up all the items that they left behind for us, and then we're going to continue along this ravine. As per usual, always keep a lookout for clams, because there's another clam bush up ahead. The Lashing Whip will take care of all that for us, though. Then we circle around here, and we're going to take out these two gentlemen. Watch out for Blight. Wait for that green smoke to dissipate, and then we can grab the golden item, which is on the other side of where we were just at. So we get the Benediction Blightful Wounds, which of course has synergy with Blight. So now we're going to come up this pathway here, and this is the log where we grabbed the Radiant Feather, and then we came down and around for the shortcut to the Avian Marsh. So pretty good here. This is an excellent point to go ahead and re-up your Temperance and everything else. So I like to go ahead and rest here, enter the dream, and then we're going to make our way towards that new creature we've yet to see. It's another type of avian. I just call them avian brutes because they don't have any weapons or really clothes on, so they're just kind of savage and quite impactful with their strikes. So, and I'd even say they're unpredictable in the beginning, but once you get used to them, it's not so bad. Alright, so from here, what we're going to do is they are susceptible to fire, so if you want, you can use it, but I wouldn't because they're going to be fairly regular enemies. So instead, rush them. Watch for the stomp there. Get in some attacks. Watch for the stomp. If you get hit by the stomp, or if you stomp and then you're positioned appropriately, go for the backstab. Because it's going to be very, very punishing for them. They don't like backstabs very much. So we can pick up this item right here, the Soul Grass, and we're going to continue along this pathway here. Here we're going to actually go into like the kind of a labyrinth of trees and stuff. I'm actually going to leave that cuckoo there because I want you to know where we're at in just a few moments. So you're more than welcome to kill it, but this is more for me just to show you kind of where we're going to come out of. If you look ahead, you're going to see a shortcut tree right there. This is a tree you can knock down and you create a shortcut, similar to when we did at Shoe Sanctum. So just remember there's a cuckoo right there. we'll be taking him out. But what we're going to do first is we're going to come up this pathway, go to this burnt nest, grab the item, and then fall down. You might be able to hear, if you look and listen very close, there's a bamboozler nearby. So we're going to go ahead and heal. There's that bamboozler kind of squeaking. Alright. Watch for all the stuff that's going to happen here. You want to aggro that little thing. You can shoot him just around the side there, and then we can go for the attack. So what happens is the bamboozler wakes up. That enemy also wakes up. But if you just rush the bamboozler, there's these little orbs that fall on the ground, and they will just kind of knock you around. So just be very careful. Do not lock on to this enemy, but wait for his arms to cross and then get the iframes. If you lock on, you're going to kind of swing around, and it can be quite dangerous. You might actually fall off even. If you notice, there's some divination crescents there just floating in the sky. So instead of going up this pathway here, we're going to come back around, and we're going to drop down and go towards each and every one of the divination crescents. So straight lines to each of them. Straight line to this item here. Straight line here. Here. Straight line to this one in the distance. A left. And then go towards these little trio of divination crescents, and you're safe. There is nothing over there but just bait, so you do get the benediction poise force, and we're just going to retrace our steps essentially. Just keep going straight towards these paths. They're pretty generous. I say that and I'm probably going to die, but it's fine. This is fine. Go straight, and then instead of going just straight up here, you're going to be stuck, so get in front of it and go around so you can avoid that collision and just get where you need to go. So you hear the cuckoo. We're going to take him out in due time. If you're nervous, go and take him out now, but we're not going to miss him. What we're going to do here is wait for this guy to aggro. Same thing as always. Let him just die. Alright. And we're going to continue to the left. Note that if we went to the right, that's just what would have happened had you not taken the burnt nest down, and that's where the cuckoo is. But we're going to come back around anyways. Now this is kind of an interesting encounter up ahead, so what I want you to do is first press forward and see if you can get this some Skyborn Might by defeating this enemy here. Just do R1 attacks only. This is another burnt nest, but if you approach it quickly enough, you can grab the Radiant Red Feather and get off, and then if you watch it, it will fall and die. And what we want to do is switch to a fire-based spell, and if you have one, and if you want to use this, you can use, at this point this would be one of the best times to use the Plumed Branch. So if you want, you can use the Plumed Branch to max out your Skyborn Might. Grab this item really quickly, switch to your Burning Flames, or your actually Infernal Flames, and we're going to spam the mess out of one of these guys here. There's two of them in here. Spam, spam, and that's going to hurt them pretty good. Now we're going to run all the way back down, and we can do the exact same thing. We're going to sprint as far away as we can because these guys aggro and they don't leash for a very long time, but as long as they're moving straight, it's going to be an excellent opportunity for us to strike them. Looks like that one's being more aggressive, so we can fire him as well. That'll cause more burning. And this is just a great and cheap way to destroy these guys. He got stuck in the assets there, which is great. I love that for us. But we're going to go ahead and finish him off. You're not really going to need the Plume Branches too often, so don't worry about it. Honestly, you can get Madness pretty much at any point in time, but I just like to at least give you the opportunity to take one of them out. Those guys are very annoying when they're together. You can even use your Fire Pots to take one on, but at this point we know how to fight these enemies, so we can go ahead and watch for the sweep there, watch for the stomps, which are more effective, and much more damaging, I'd say. Try and get a backstab if you're able to. Get the obliteration, and then you can just go ahead and punish. So the backstab on this enemy is kind of interesting. You can get it from the side much of the time. It's a very generous backstab, whereas some enemies, not so much. So we did get a secret letter here. This is very important. Aside from the tokens that we just picked up, we get the secret letter, which is going to influence one of the NPCs that we have met previously at the Cloudspire Passage. So we're going to be chatting with him in due time in the next episode, and this will actually ensure that we get the best outcome, and it's a positive one. So if you look up ahead, there's going to be, well, not yet actually. If you go a little bit later, I'll show you what I'm talking about, where there's little blight orbs that fall on you. Make a sharp left. knock down this tree. And just so you know, that's where the cuckoo is. So that's why I didn't want you to kill the cuckoo yet. So we've come full circle now, right? If you go back this way though, there is going to be an enemy here. Keep your lashing whip out. It just happens to be much more effective. If you have Skyborn, might just use it. He's taking his time coming to us anyways. So watch for the attack. Since we missed that backstep, we can get a backstep on his way up. Get the obliteration. And then we'll punish when he's down. There you go. We get a brilliant red feather and some red mercury essence for our troubles, which is great. And then we can, this is the shortcut again, we can go this way, the opposite of the shortcut. And this is a little bit of an annoying gauntlet. You want to make sure you have some good despair defenses. And that's precisely what we have with this outfit on. And you're going to want to equip some Mind Lotus seeds as well. That's because we have despair sorcerers that are a bit out of range, and they're going to make us go through some hoops here that's quite annoying, but we're going to make our way through this little tunnel area first. And as we get into this cavern, there's going to be some coffins that we need to take out. So just kind of zig and zag and dash anytime you're under anything that's glowing, because those are the orbs that are going to fall that I was mentioning. Take out this enemy. Don't grab anything, don't even worry about anything yet. Instead, just circle around, watch your meter. Go ahead and take a despair if it happens to be too high. Watch the orbs, so stick to the left. And we'll take out this enemy, but as your despair comes up, make sure that you're using the Mind Lotus seeds as you need to. You have 5 at a time, so feel free to use them liberally. I'm going to use one now. And now we can go ahead and go past this enemy. And we're going to need to beeline towards that sorcerer that's causing despair. So we're going to come up here. And this used to be much more difficult because there was a sorcerer that aggroed that would summon the purple undead. But fortunately, we don't have to really deal with him until he's up here. He doesn't aggro until much later now, and he's on the floor. He used to be up on this platform that I'm going to show you in just a moment. He used to be up on this platform, so he was pretty much, you had to circle around, you'd still be in trouble because he was spawning a bunch of those purple undead, so he was quite annoying. So we're not done yet though, we do need to come down, so we need to keep our Mind Lotus seeds out, we're going to drop down safely, watch our despair meter because it's going to start building up like crazy. So quickly grab this item, pop a despair seed, rush down all the way to the bottom, and then see if you can get a backstab. If you can't, that's fine. Just go ahead and go for the melee strikes, finish him off with the weapon ability, and then he's dead. This is going to be the entrance where we just came from, and sadly we do need to come back and kind of clear everything out, but not yet. So this is just lore, it's kind of talking about the bird creatures that are in the jungle, and how humans were used as food, and how they came to be even. Essentially they hang the coffins there, the coffins eventually fill, of course are filled with human bodies, and over time, after some rituals and things of that nature, they become those avians that we've been seeing. Let's pick up the Forgotten Remembrance, and we're now going to prepare for the next little sequence here. We're going to go right, because there's no way back up. We're going to sprint across here, because we do have an avian creature that can use spells. And we're going to watch for the clam bush right here. We're going to switch to our axe to see what that does. Not much better in my opinion, but it's fine. There you go. Slightly better than the longsword, I suppose, but now we're going to come back here, watch for the projectiles, switch back to the longsword, and then we can go ahead and pick up some of these goodies. What do I always tell you? If you guys are not new, if you guys are new to my guides, I always say look up, okay? So there's always going to be things like ambushes, things of that nature. If you're not looking up, that will catch you off guard. So you always want to be looking up and around, because more often than not, there's going to be a little fellow like that trying to ambush you. So that's one of the final clam bushes of this area. But I always say, always look up. If you can, get the backstab. If not, that's fine. I don't think less of you. I missed it too. See? Go for the dodge there. There you go. You definitely want to get hit occasionally so that they don't think you're just some invincible pirate warrior girl, you know? You want to give them a sense of security so that you can take advantage like that. At least that's what I tell myself. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and heal yet again. We're going to come up this ladder, and this is going to take us back to the main tunnel. The tunnel that we actually dropped out of to take out the Despair Sorcerer. So there's two pathways we can take, just like in real life. You can go left, you can go right. And what we're going to be doing is going left. If you go right, we're going to exit the tunnel and face off with a humanoid enemy that's pretty tough. And instead we're going to go back this way, retrace our steps, and watch for the glowing orbs. As per usual, the pots have the green blight, and any orbs above you will drop down. This is just a way to kind of get a scene of, you know, capture the scene of what all this area is. Any goodies you might have missed, watch out for the orbs there. And then we're going to pick up this item here. Prior to 1.5, the source was actually up here, so it was quite a trek to get to him while you're panicking and suffering from both not only getting stabbed in the side, but also despair. We're going to keep going back down. This is where we killed the sorcerer, so he's been moved here now. And we're going to retrace our steps back to the beginning, because there's a few things we missed, and we did it purposely because I never suggest or advise you to be searching an area while you're receiving some sort of affliction. An affliction that's actually one that's deadly. Poison and things like that can be managed, and honestly, as long as you can out-heal them, it's fine. But if you get despair, you just die, so you don't want that. This is the beginning. That's where the sorcerer was, and that's where the chest was with the upgrade for the mana vase. We can now go and grab the item that the coffin enemy dropped for us. And then if we were to have come here and made a sharp left, we would see there's another coffin enemy, which we can go ahead and take out. And when he drops down, he's going to be all mad. Yes, yes, I get it. Take him out. And then we can grab the item that he was guarding. So that's another ambush that we would have pretty much been fallen for and then been attacked and knocked off this narrow log bridge here. So now we can safely return back. We're going to take this main tunnel all the way out towards the humanoid enemy, and we're done with this despair cave. They did make it significantly easier because you no longer have to wade through an army of purple undead, but I actually enjoyed that. It was a bit of panic, and I like that sense of dread, you know, as one does. So we're going to make our way up here. We're just retracing our steps essentially. If you ever go under any glowing orbs or whatever, just make sure you're dodging through just to make sure it doesn't fall on your head. And then we're going to come this way and prepare for another fight. If you want, because it's a tougher enemy, you can use a temperance here. I'm not against that at all. I want to fight him out in the open though, so wait for that first opening strike. There you go. And I like to fight him out here. Don't back up too much though, because there's a bridge and you will fall off and die. Like in real life. There you go, got the backstab there with the big punish. We'll see if we can finish him off here while he's on the floor. Lovely. Now we can open up the chest that he was guarding. It seems to be a crane pendant. This is a pretty fun pendant because it actually increases the amount of the potency of your spells if you have low health, so it's kind of a glass cannon kind of thing. I do enjoy that quite a bit. There is an item tucked away in this corner here. And then we're going to speak with the white-robed elder yet again. He's essentially kind of fighting inner demons. And that's why he kind of seems like he's losing his mind. So he's still adamant about that fight, so he wants to go off and fight that fiend he keeps referring to a little bit later. There aren't any items on either of this side here, so just so you can see for yourself, no items. We are going to come across this bridge, and we have a handful more avian enemies and some clams that we can take out. So what I like to do is come around this way. If you can take a look here, you can see a clam enemy right there where my head is, and then there's a second clan enemy. But if you, I was gonna say, if you move too far forward, you actually aggro both of them. I like to come around this angle, so you just do one at a time. But they're not very much of a threat, so as long as they're not spinning, they can't harm you. And it does spin and account for 2 hits, so make sure it's, 1, 2, and then you can go ahead and counter. So now we're going to be pressing forward this way. We can take out this weakling here. If you have Skyborn Might, more power to you. We're going to go for the backstab here. Punish and hopefully finish this enemy off pretty quickly. There you go. Now we're going to grab this item in here, and then we're going to speak to this person that's trapped in this hut So essentially they are trapping people here in these nests, and then they're eating them, so that's unfortunate. Many people think that's Chao Ying, but it's actually not. If you do the alternate outcome for the Chao Ying questline, you will know that that is not Chao Ying. Chao Ying is actually safely back at the refugee camp. So what we're going to do here is dash quickly inside to avoid this trap, wait for it to go back around, and then now that's opened up for us. We're going to drop down this ladder just so that you know this will lead you directly to the Avian Marsh Shrine. So if you were just to come down here and go down that secondary ladder, the Avian Marsh is just below us. So hopefully that puts that together for you guys. I don't want to go all the way down because I don't really see the need to right now. So we're going to come back up. There may be an enemy that's aggroing to our left. Ideally, I like to go right first, but if he's here, yeah, looks like he sees us, so we'll go ahead and take him out. Reward him for his, his due diligence. So he's dead, and now we're going to come around this way. So from the ladder, drop the ladder and make a right. This is an item that you can get. There's 2 items up here that are actually pretty valuable. And you can take out this sorcerer right here. If you recall, this is the sorcerer. It was on the other side of where that ladder was, and I said we can't reach him yet. We'll get our revenge a little bit later. Well, there's our revenge. There's the drum enemy and the boar that he would have awakened. So that's the very first ladder into the Avian Marsh proper. So don't forget this Radiant Red Feather for upgrade purposes. We're going to be boosting up our weapons really shortly. And a matter of fact, just if you wanted to, you could go down and upgrade your weapons right now, if you were needing to go to the shrine to re-up. But we're going to press forward for now. And here at the ladder, we can actually make a left, grab this item, and then just enjoy the show. There's going to be a little scuffle here between the Avian elites and some other Avian brothers. Whoever survives will be the enemies that we face off with, so just be careful. Prepare to use a temperance if you want, or, do whatever you want to do here. If you have Skyborn Might, you can spam spells. I mean, it's just a matter of whatever you want to do. A lot of times they knock themselves off and do all kinds of things, so this guy, we can help him push off, because we're gentlemen. Let them do their thing. Let them express themselves, as I say. They're still fighting each other, so that's good. There you go. Now we just cleaned it up, and that's good to go. You can be way more patient and watch the actual fight unfold, and you can even make bets with your friends. But no, I do not endorse betting or participate myself, okay? I'm just saying. We get the bronze armor. The bronze armor is going to be an item that we can use and give to Wukong to expand his inventory. And then we're going to take this ladder up. It's really the only path we can take. And here before long we're going to have another scuffle with a Red Eye Avian Elite. It's a savage enemy, so those are going to be a little bit tougher. But here in a little bit though, we're going to grab this item. We're going to circle around. And try and find our way out of this forest. So before you do anything, sprint straight ahead. You'll see a little bamboozler. Go for the running R1 strike and take him out. If you were to proceed forward, that leads you to a tomb. But there's not a shrine there yet, so it's just a massive area that's absolutely empty. We'll be exploring it at the end of this episode. So we're going to go past these enemies here and knock down this right here. This is an excellent opportunity to go back to the Avian Dwelling Shrine and rest, and as a matter of fact, we'll do just that. That way we can re-up not only our healing items, but our temperance and everything else that we've been using up to this point. So let's go ahead and enter the dream here. But before we can go ahead and use our impetus repository, we're also more than welcome to upgrade our flasks, because we've gotten all kinds of things for both of us. Now we have more usage and also more potency. So we're doing really good there. Let's see, we don't have any more pieces, so that's fine. Once we do, we'll have plenty of opportunity to enhance even further. And then when it comes to our weapon, we do have some radiant red feathers, so we're going to use those right there. We're going to go back up to the axe, because we picked up a handful of brilliant red feathers, and we're going to use those. So So now our axe is in excellent shape. It's +6 right now. We're going to go for this little node here that increases the pretty much the more madness you have, the more poise break you're going to do. So it's excellent because a lot of times if you're either dying a lot or if you're just, you know, whatever reason in that, you know, have a lot of madness in general because you're trying to get the benefits from it, you can deal even more damage. So I do prefer stamina over health because it allows us to stay aggressive. So you can go up this node if you want. It's really up to you though. This is all preference here. So don't you worry about it. It's whatever works best for you. There's really nothing that's like a wrong answer, if you will. So what you can do is if you want, we're more than welcome to go to the refugee camp and speak to Wukong, but I think we should hold off unless you're just really, really antsy to see what he has in his inventory. But trust me, it's nothing that's gonna be game breaking. Not yet anyways. So what we're gonna do from here is we're going to prepare to do the final stretch of the Avian Marsh and then prepare a clean path to the boss. So what we want to do first is go this way, the shortcut that we just opened up, and there will be another shortcut if you can see to the right on this that we'll be activating with this tree right here. That'll take us to the avian dwelling as well. So we're going to go this way, and then we're going to make a hard right. We're going to see a cuckoo up in this corner here. He's kind of quiet right now. There he is. He's not quiet anymore. And there is fighting. Let them do their thing. I like to kind of just watch the scuffles unfold. You can obviously go in and do as much damage as you like, but why not have them soften them up for me? I'd hate to have them all aggro on me at the same time, so. Lovely. Alright, so now we can go for any kind of strike here, just finish him off. Nice and easy. We'll grab whatever he gave us because we love free goodies. Gonna grab these items here that everybody was kind of guarding and everything that's dropped. And we're gonna go down this ladder here. When we go down the ladder, rush it quickly. And we're gonna go straight for the backstab for this avian enemy here. Completely ignore that blight enemy, okay? Just the L1 strikes will do all the work for us, so don't even worry about it. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you get blight because guess what? Just about one flask or one mana vase will kind of nullify all the effects that we just had. So even though we dealt with that, you just completely ignore the bleach, the blight leechmonger. I call him the bleachmonger now. And now there you go, one flask does all that. We get another flask upgrade. And then here, there's absolutely nothing you can do except move, go back up the ladder and go forward. So these are all dead ends here, and I'm just showing you because I typically don't believe, if I was ever watching a guide, I wouldn't believe anybody. I have to see for myself. So go back up the ladder. And from here, we're going to continue along the path. So we're going to make a left so we can go past where the avian and the humans are fighting. So they're all fighting here. We're going to make a left and move forward. We hear a cuckoo off in the distance. Where could he be, I wonder? Oh, he's right there. So we're going to go ahead and kill him. And we're going to come this way. Grab this item here. And then when we drop down from here, if you want, you can go for a plunge attack because there is an enemy right there. I miss him like 9 times out of 10, so it's fine. He's tucked in real good. So kill him, open up this chest. We get the Blight Defense Benediction, and then watch for that orb. It is going to fall, so just dash over here. You can get the Divination Crescents and then go up this ladder. So as we come up this ladder here, you might be wondering, like, where did we pop out of and where have we, what do we need to retrace in terms of our steps and our pathways? But honestly, there's nothing at all. Because if you just drop off this log here, if you turn to the right, this is precisely where we just dropped down. So you've missed nothing at all. So now we have 2 rebel enemies in here. I do prioritize the more mobile enemy, which is the one that's going to use projectiles. So weapon, Lashing Whip there and use the weapon ability for that. Take him out. Lovely. And then we'll get our health back. And this is going to be the back end of after you defeat the boss in this area. This is the back end of that boss arena. So I'll be showing you where the 2 rebels were from up there in just a moment. So we're going to come back around. There aren't any items here, believe it or not. It's just a bunch of clams, and no, you can't open them, and no goodies held inside, anything like that. We're going to go up the ladder instead. And there's a handful of items that we can collect up here. So again, nothing here. Pretty clean. But as we come out and around, we're going to find a handful of goodies. So first and foremost, nothing tucked away in these corners either. But if you go around to this side and you go straight to this nest, you can actually see this from the avian dwelling shrine. But you get a spell called Plume Vortex. That's the shrine just ahead of us, by the way. So I love connecting the areas for you guys so you can see, you know, the level design, because it's masterfully done in this game. So we're going to come down this large log here, or this large like trunk of the tree here, and there is an item there, and that's going to be the boss arena. But before we press forward, we need to go ahead and prepare for the fight. So we're going to grab this item. We're going to knock down the shortcut so we never have to go around that long path again. And we're going to cross over once it's kind of settled in place. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do some cleanup. There's a few things that I'm going to tell you as we're kind of re-upping and replenishing our stock and all of that. So let's go ahead and go to the Impetus Repository first. We're going to face off with a boss called the Bow Sorcerer, and she is quite susceptible to frost. So we have frost there, that's excellent. And what we're going to do is just see if there's anything else we can kind of bump up here. We are going to be using our longsword, but stamina or endurance benefits everything. So we're good to go there. Now, in terms of our actual loadout, I'm going to show you what we need here. If you do like to use any kind of spells, the Frost Flame is going to be incredible. It does tons of status buildup and tons of damage in particular. You can also have the ability, if you want, to equip a handful of other things, but we're not going to need the Lifesteal Pendant. Instead, you can go with something like more stamina or more damage for like your stab attack weapon, which is what we're going to have. You're more than welcome to use anything else, though, whatever you feel is most effective for your build and what you're kind of going with. We're going to remove all of these spells and go with the Dark Frost Flames, which is incredibly powerful against her. You'll see that whenever Frost, when she gets afflicted with a Frost, or whenever Frost procs, she takes about 4,000 damage, which is a massive chunk of her health bar. You can also use this. You won't find me using it, but you definitely have openings to use it, and I'll try and tell you when. If not, just experiment with it and have some fun. And if you really, really want, you do actually have the ability to summon the White-Robed Elder, so you could have the Bone Whistle equipped there. And it's just, what I advise is that you do make sure that you're aware of the timing, because the Bone Whistle does have a very long time to activate an animation. So there's going to be a really small opening window for you to actually use it effectively in the beginning. If not, you just may not even be able to until she goes to phase 2. So here, just check your, check your benedictions, see if there's anything you might like if there's maybe more status effects or anything like that that you might think is beneficial for your build. I do prefer kind of going for like a backstab, obliteration, or counter type. So the frostbite buildup would be fantastic for this particular fight, though. So you see how it says obliterate attacks increase your damage and grant skyborn might. That's good, but frostbite buildup is even more effective in this particular fight. So change it around, experiment, and see what you think is most effective for you. And then honestly, you can kind of go with whatever you want, but the frostbite damage again is really good, or you can go with and consecutive attacks increasing stamina, which is really good just in general. So it's really up to you. So consecutive attacks increasing your damage, I like that for the axe because you can pretty much go infinitely there. So just think about whatever makes the most sense for you. But inflicting frostbite, increasing damage, I mean, there's so many different things you can do there. So I'm probably going to go with some stamina recovery. So we don't need too much of the frostbite damage, but it certainly helps. We'll change it out after the fight, of course, but just think about those things whenever you're constantly obtaining these new benedictions. So again, I will not be using the summon, but I'll let you know when it's the proper time to summon the White-Robed Elder. So there is going to be one item over here. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is temper your weapon with frost, go back to your mana vases, and prepare for the fight. She's got a lot of melee strikes. Skip the cutscene, of course.
At last.
So here we go. Let's see what she's doing. This is a 4-hit strike. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when she puts her hand up, dodge forward. That way she can completely miss you. Otherwise she will almost obliterate your health bar. That's 1. And then 2. And then she could follow up with some melee. That's a 3-hit combo here. This is a great opportunity to counter. We didn't get the backstab. That's okay. When the water surrounds her, you want to make sure you dodge forward into those orbs of water. So this is a great opportunity to spam your frost spell as well. She does it usually around 3 times. But the frost damage is just immense. Look at that, 2,000 damage there, just like that. And then 3, we can get a backstab here potentially. Nope, we didn't get it. Go forward. And we got some more of these. We love these. We can keep spamming our Frost Flame here at a range. If she wants to fight this way, it's fine, because we can also counter it. No big deal. If you're able to, temper your weapon. If you get hit while you're tempering, it still counts, so it's fine. Go forward, go for the backstab. We're going to punish really aggressively here. There you go. Heal. And watch for what she's going to do. So she's going to do 4 attacks here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when she moves her hands up, go forward. That way she can miss us. Watch for the combo here. This is a 1 hit. And she's going to spin around with the feathers. And she could follow up with any number of attacks here. That's a 3-hit combo here. See if we can counter. No backstab for us. That's okay though. Go here. Try and get the backstab again. That's okay. She's being really cheeky. So go forward and forward again. Go. Forward again. Go for the backstab. We're going to punish the backstab pretty aggressively here. And then as she goes into phase 2, this is where you'd want to do the bone whistle. Get all that going. But as she starts doing her dance, we're going to run away. We're going to heal. We're going to remove our lock-on, temper our weapon, and then just dash through these tornadoes. There's going to be 6 of them. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we lock back onto her. We can fire some Frost Flame if you want. She's taking her time. Back away. When the screen pans out, just start sprinting to one side. She got procced with more frost yet again. 1. When you hear that, just back away. When you see the golden aura, she's going to use a projectile, so just be careful. There you go. Watch for the swings. There you go. And dodge forward, go for the backstab. Excellent. We're going to punish aggressively. Get some massive damage with the frost proc, and then just go crazy on her right here. There you go. Now there's the 4-hit combo here, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Watch the hand, go up, and go for the backstab if you can. That's fine if you don't get it. We can heal here just to be safe. 3-hit combo there. She's going to keep doing the grab and chaining it together. Watch for the dodge. We're going to proc some Frost Flame there. If she keeps lunging, it'll make it real easy for us. She's right here, she's dancing. This would have been an AoE attack, but the frost just destroyed her. So there you go. That's the that is the Bow Sorcerer. So we get a handful of things. Of course, her item for Tao Ching. We get an Echo, which is a really good spell that we're going to use a little bit later on. And now, if you have enough health and you're confident, you can press forward. Perfectly fine to do that. We do have another fight with an avian though after this this boss, sadly, but make a left first at the fort. An avian's going to drop down from there. We're going to take him out, so lock on as quickly as you can. Go for some aggressive strikes here. Get stopped a few times, you know, just to show him who's boss. Alright, and now that he's dead, we can grab this item here. And as we circle around to the left, this is going to be the area that I said was the back of the boss arena. So now we can see the 2 rebels right there. They can't get us, so... The archer can certainly shoot you though if you're not careful. So we're going to come back and retrace our steps, and at that fork we're now going to just continue forward, which would have been a right turn from the boss arena. So this is the fork, that's the boss arena. We're going to be making a right turn now. We're going to come up this pathway here. We're going to grab some goodies. I told you, Frost is just incredibly powerful against the Bow Sorcerer. This is a path we're going to be taking here eventually, but just bear with me. This is Bulio. This is Magalhae's partner in crime here. He's pretty much crazy. He sees the feathers and he associates them with angels and resurrection and whatnot, so he's all over the place. So if you go left, you're going to see some humans, and by the avian enemy, an item here. This is the rebel camp that we were overlooking from that mountain right up there. So that mountain where Wuchang's head is, that's where the ladder is. And that's where we face off with the avian elite and the inner demon. But we're going to be coming back here and exploring this area at a later time. That's actually going to be in the next episode. So first, we have plenty of quests to progress forward and close out. So we're going to go this way, break these crates here. Or not, or we can just go around them. I don't know why that happened. And then we're going to come up here. There's going to be an elite enemy right here. This is an elite leechmonger. When you take this enemy out, you get its head. So that leech face, you can actually have that on. The sad part is it does poison you pretty much consistently, so you're going to be in a pretty fun spot trying to wear that for too long, but it does give you blight if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, so we're going to come up this pathway now, and I'm going to tell you about an alternate outcome that you could have had you made the other choices that I've indicated throughout this guide. So this particular tent that we're going to come up on, after we grab this little item right here, is covered in talismans. And had you not given Huang Jianyi the Trinity Bell, and instead given her one of the Taoist tokens, she would essentially become hostile, and this individual would be someone that you could speak to. You would be able to speak to an individual in this tent, and you'd give him the damage token. When you went back to enter the dream and return to this area, Huang Jianyi would have killed the individual. He'd be laying right here, and then you would face off with her and get the remainder of the Zhenwu clothing outfit set. So that's the alternate outcome for Huang Jianyi. We're now going to come around this way, and we see our little friend, little jar boy. We get the Crimson Lantern fruit. We can chat with him. He doesn't have much to say this time, though. So instead, we're going to speak with Nian Suichang. This is going to satisfy the icon that's been kind of lingering this entire time. He's trying to say he's brave, he's not scared, he's not a coward. He was just, overrun by so many different monsters. This is one of the shortcuts for the refugee camp. And if you come forward, we're going to see that Tao Jing is just right over here. We can hand over the copper drum, exhaust his dialogue, and then now we get a new pendant here that it's going to increase the blunt attack powers. This is really good for axe users, so it's not a bad thing to have. And then of course that's all we have available now, but we have a lot more dialogue coming up, so let's speak with Wukong and give him the bronze armor. Exhaust his dialogue, and then now he has some more additional items for us to purchase, more benedictions and things of that nature. We also, which I think is really, really exciting, can purchase this. And I'm going to get this so I can show you what it looks like. You get the Ghost Warrior plate and all that, but you also get the Terror Clam hood. And I thought this was just such a cool little armor piece. I was so glad. It reminded me of something like out of Elden Ring, for example. But there's the Terror Clam hood. Very, very neat, in my opinion. I absolutely love the armor in this game. And then, of course, the Leech headwear, which gives us Blight. So, fun outfits altogether, I'd say. But anyways, now that we have that, if you haven't, you can always obtain anything from the donation box that you may have missed. But we can speak with Magalhaeus. He's not going to say much else, even though we did meet Bulio. And then come here. You need to come to this dock here because these two NPCs are speaking about boats and trying to escape at some kind of dock. And if you chat with them, they're just going to send you off. So what you want to do is after you've done that and you've overheard that conversation, go back to the Jar Child, and we're going to go ahead and let him know about the potential escape via a boat dock. So the child in the jar has two options. We can keep quiet or we can tell him about it. If you keep quiet, you pretty much just end the quest here and he ends up perishing. But if you tell him of the boat, something different happens. So let's go ahead and tell him about it. He's going to be pretty happy about that, it seems. And now we're going to go ahead and enter the dream. We have several other quest lines to progress and close out. So we're going to be doing that as well. So let's go ahead and enter the dream, reset the state of this world, and press things forward. So we'll go ahead and use the impetus repository. Why not? See what else we have. We got 3 points. That's just delicious. Let's see what else we have here. I don't think we have enough for another level. That's perfectly fine. Can we level the axe any further? I think the axe is ready for a big boy upgrade. So there you go. We get another upgrade there. We get some more stamina. You know, if we want, we can get more health. Why not? Because if you're following along, you might want to be upgrading the same exact way. I'll be kind of nice. I typically don't really focus on health upgrades too much, but I think for the purposes of the walkthrough, it's incredibly important. So now we're just going to wait for it to load up. We're going to push forward some of these, these quest lines. And now what we want to do is we want to take a look at the shrine and see who else we need to chat with. So if we go to the teleport, we're going to see that at the avian dwelling, we have the white-robed elder. But where are we going to chat with him? Let's find out. All right. So what we want to do is, from here, the shrine, you're going to make a left. This is the shortcut where the kind of villagers are, as well as the bamboozler. And we're going to go towards that bridge where we killed the bamboozler. And we're going to actually cross it this time. There's actually a purpose to go into this massive area, believe it or not. And off we go. Now, and sadly, no, we don't get a bow sorcerer, inspired armor set. I would have absolutely loved that. But now that we've defeated the bow sorcerer alongside the white-robed elder, we come into this beautiful arena, or area I should say, called the Tomb. It's just a massive open area that's incredibly beautiful. And we're going to speak with the white-robed elder now. Is he at peace though? I wonder.
I led the red discern the truth.
So we get the Tag Release Pendant, which is going to increase the damage dealt, but damage taken as well. And he also keeps saying to discern the truth, and that way things can be as they need to be. He might be that general of legend from 1,000 years ago, but only time will tell, right? This is yet another warning that sometimes living one's dream is actually a curse, and that instead embracing the natural cycle of life and death is often more rewarding, whereas trying to break said cycle can result in abominations and terrible, terrible things to come about. So we're going to be going back, retracing our steps. Going back to the avian dwelling here. We're going to warp to the refugee camp. And as per usual, always see if there's anything. See if Xiangwanzi wants to talk. See whatever friends we have that we want to chat with. But right now he doesn't want anything to do with us. So that's fine. Story of my life. So we're going to go to the refugee camp. And I'm going to show you guys exactly where we're going to leave off. So what we're going to do is we're going to head towards that avian marsh area again. Not the avian marsh proper, but the marsh that was overlooking the rebel camp. So we're going to come down this way. Make a hard right here. Keep pressing forward. Sadly, there's nothing we can do just yet, and even having the tokens in our possession for the Yonder Gang aren't going to help progress anything just yet. We do need to make it through Zhenwu, the Zhenwu Temple, I should say. And that's going to allow us to progress her questline. The very end. So right here, guys, is where we're going to lead off. Remember this ladder that we dropped down? We had just been overlooking that area and the cave where I was pointing up at and the cliff. This is where we're at. So now we've come full circle. We have full knowledge of the entire avian marsh area. And guys, I want to say congratulations. We're one step closer to beating this game 100%. Now, that's going to bring this episode to an end, but in the next episode, we'll be taking on the Zhenwu Temple, which is one of my least favorite areas, but we're going to get through it as quickly and efficiently as possible and obtain everything possible. If you guys learned anything or had enjoyed this guide or any value came to you by watching, please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. It helps me out immensely as a full-time content creator. It allows me to continue doing what I love, and that is of course making these awesome guides for your guys' viewing pleasure. Make sure to click on the videos on screen to continue your journey, and I'll be there to guide you when you arrive. Thank you so much for being the best part of my channel, and until next time, it's the Inhuman One signing out.